This is the Still Talking Podcast, episode 12. Thank you for being here.
My God, are you still talking?
Yes, we are. Welcome everybody to the Still Talking Podcast, episode 12. I am Doughman247. I believe it is a one-person booth again tonight. I know we have some things going on, so I will be here talking to you for most of the night. Might even very crazy Hick to get his opinions of stuff. But we are going to start it off here. You just saw a kid in the back of a truck with a couch. I mean, that kid's living the best life, honestly. I'm sure it's illegal as hell, but he's living the best life. I mean, it's I'm not wrong. The kid's he's leading his best life. But, yeah, it's highly illegal. But whatever. You should do that a lot in Mexico there. I mean, the rules and laws are differently there. I used to do that as a kid. They didn't really frown upon that as much back then. Back in my day, they didn't really care too much about safety. We used to lay down in the back window of a vehicle. Windows were that big in the back window of them. Nobody cared. No seatbelt laws or anything like that. You just that was kind of your vacation. You kind of did whatever you wanted to do. He was laying down with the couch over him. I mean, it could have been a point of it, because he might have been trying to hold the couch down. I've done that before also. Where you're laying in you're staying in the back of the truck and you're back there because you're actually holding something down, or you're holding to make sure it doesn't fly away. So he could have been doing a job. I mean, sometimes you gotta do the jobs. Mexico, they don't give a shit unless you have an American license plate. I mean, that's probably a target at that point. Your grandpa said they used to throw frozen snowballs at each other. Yeah, and they would throw snowballs off a bridge onto cars. See, that's something that's dangerous. I mean, not that a frozen snowball isn't dangerous either. That would just knock you out, or give you a pretty good welt and stuff like that. It was funny, haha, at the time. But throwing stuff off bridges onto cars, that's irresponsible. We never did that. That's stupid. Like, you want to mess your friend up? That's cool. Throw a frozen snowball at him. You don't mess up strangers. That's where I draw the line. That is where I draw the line. Do not mess up strangers. You can mess up your friends all you want. That's why they're your friends. You can throw stuff at them and hurt them and stuff like that. Yeah. I mean, far too often do you see like reports in the wintertime of like plows knocking snow off of bridges and it hits a car, and unfortunate circumstances. Your uncle got caught doing it by one of the drivers. He got the shit beat out of him. I mean, yeah. He came home mad at your grandpa for running away. I mean, I wouldn't doubt that. But yeah, I mean, for sure. If, yeah, that's just reckless. Kid went to jail for throwing rocks and acid off of a bridge. Yeah, I mean, there's places around here and stuff like that people get in trouble for doing that stuff. And kids think it's funny, but it's not funny when, somebody actually gets hurt. Or heaven forbid, dies. Where do you get acid from? I mean, that's a different question. Mexico, they don't care about the rules of the road. Clutch your invisible pearls all the time. Right. You purposely spell period? You spell it like Min spells period. Well, actually, she puts a D in there, too. Period. It's true. Hector had to spell check it. To see how it is. I mean, yeah, for sure. Well, it looks like we have one contestant that has joined us. So let's graciously welcome in our co-host. You're here and sitting. That's good that you're not standing. Looks right to me. Road lines don't matter. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of laws don't matter also. What are we talking about? Right now we're talking about delinquency, apparently. But let's jump into... Switch screens here. I haven't had to do this in a couple weeks because usually I'm the only one here. So let's switch into... We're talking about Hector, yes. Let's switch into this. Let's undeafen ourselves. And let's see how old Jax is doing. Hello? Jax is shy. Oh, hi.
I forgot to unmute. I'm actually here this time.
You're actually here. Wow, this is amazing. That I actually have another co-host with me this week.
I'm surprised that I'm here because
So I gotta work at 6 in the morning today.
Oh.
Second I got home, I passed out. I woke up at 2 p.m. It was downpouring. And I passed out again, and I woke up at 11.
Wait. Those times
Or
don't...
at 7.
I'll say, those times don't add up. Okay, alright. That makes a little more
sense. At 7. It's 7:11, that's why I said that.
Right.
Shut up.
So you've just been sleeping all day, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Oh.
I've been out cold.
And it's been raining. So now that we've caught up on Jax's life, it's been raining and it's cold, and he slept all day.
I haven't started my stream yet.
He hasn't started his stream yet. But over in the left corner is co-host Jax. We welcome him into the Still Talking podcast. We've kind of already started the podcast, kind of talking about apparently delinquency. Throwing frozen snowballs at people and throwing snowballs off bridges and stuff like that. So that's been pretty interesting. Talk about the traffic laws in Mexico, the non-existent traffic laws in Mexico.
The hell?
Yeah.
Looks like I missed a lot.
You have. And we're trying to translate what Hector's saying, and nobody actually understands what he's saying. So we're gonna pass on that. But they are talking about like the non-existent traffic laws in Mexico, which kind of gets me to my point, and I kind of wanted to talk about this today. Whether it was going to be just me again, just talking, or still talking, or it was going to be anybody that wants to join in.
Oh, I see. I better pull up your chat then.
I mean, you can if you'd like to.
Not really.
I'm just kind of reading. They're having a debate about the Mexican laws, the traffic laws.
I wouldn't know. I've never been to Mexico.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't either, but we've got a couple people that have been.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know enough.
Thank you, Jax, for that. Appreciate that.
No.
But my main.
Yeah, I don't know enough on the subject to have an opinion.
Yeah, I don't think that's what we're gonna go off of. But my main point for today is screw the game.
I'm here.
Yeah, screw the game. We're talking about gas, and I'm not talking about gas that you're getting from Taco Bell. I'm not talking about $1.39 bean burrito gas. I am talking about the wildly expensive gas prices that we're dealing with. And I am going to caution everybody. I've already kind of said it in our group chat. I don't want this to be political. I don't want blame whatever. You can blame whoever. You can blame everybody. But I don't want to point one finger at one person or one finger at another person. What I do want
That's not how that works, by the way. You can't just blame a single person for...
Right, we can blame Hector. Right. No, but what I'm saying is, like, I don't want this to be, well, it's this person's fault. Oh no, it was his predecessor's fault. It's no, it's everybody's fault.
Yeah.
It's everybody's fault. So I want to kind of address that issue, and I want to address what we can do going forward. I mean, short of everybody have electric cars, and then you don't have enough electricity, but like, how can we combat this? Because this isn't the first time. It's the first time that it's been over $5 a gallon, but it's not the first time gas prices have been high. I think in 2008 they were mid $4 a gallon, which would put them, according to inflation, higher than what they are now. So, my first question is, how is this affecting everybody? The price of gas. Because, like, what I'm going to say is, everybody is from a different place. But I'm going to go with national. I'm going to go with national averages. The national average of gas is $5 a gallon, which is up $1.93 from this time last year. It's up 19 cents in the last week. The highest average price state is California at $6.43. The lowest average state is Mississippi, and that's at $4.52. So we're still, I mean, the national average is $5.
National average.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So the national average is $5, which is what I would go off of. How is that affecting you?
You know what's great about this? That it doesn't. Well, maybe it does in some capacity, but not in like a personal way, because I don't own a vehicle. I live in New York. We walk everywhere.
Right.
So.
Do you take public transportation?
I don't. No.
Okay. I mean, at the bottom line, it's costing you, though. It might not cost you at the pump. It might not cost you physically to go and fill up. Right. But it's costing the price of milk, the price of bread. Because if we're paying $5 a gallon, diesel is $6 a gallon. So the cost to have something delivered by semi-truck is going up. So all the product prices are going up. Everybody is charging a fuel surcharge now. I mean, I just got fuel surcharge for my trash pickup. They're charging us a fuel surcharge. Like that, so it's not yeah, I need to drive this many miles for work. I need to go fill up my car. That's the price of this, but the price of everything is going up. How does that affect you? Because I don't know, and I don't need to know. I don't want to know. I'm not sharing my information or anything like that. But I don't want to know what people make. But are you making? You're not making more money to combat that. So the prices are going up, and people are making the same amount of money. Like how do you? I mean, am I not right with that, Jax? I mean, do you feel that, like, I'm assuming you buy groceries. I'm assuming you buy anything. Everything's more expensive now. And is it more expensive because of inflation, or is it more expensive because the companies have to pass on the price to us to make it worth it? I mean, eggs, if you want eggs, if you want any sort of meat, hamburger, anything like that, anything to transport any of that food, the price is going up because of the price of gas.
I think it just gives us more reason to be more, what's the word I'm looking for? Like homegrown, homebrewed, you know?
Yeah, I mean, living off the grid would be a
I'm not saying just go full on off grid, disappear from society, support yourself in every aspect. I'm just saying, have your own little garden, have a few chickens.
Yeah, I
Stuff
mean,
like that.
That
Start
would
small.
It would.
I feel like everyone should be doing that. I mean, that's gonna be a lot harder in more suburban area, or not suburban, but like more city area.
Yeah, say you live in New York. Can you have a garden?
Yeah, I can.
Okay. I was thinking when you said New York, maybe more like Manhattan. If you're in Manhattan, you probably can't have a garden. You just don't have the room. There's no spots for that.
In New York City, no.
Which what I would assume is,
it's gonna be a lot harder for people like that. But,
right.
Those outside of the city should, start doing that.
Right. Natalie had a good point here. We have to consume less because everything is more expensive, and I'm correct. We don't make more money. Right. Everything is more expensive, but do you consume? Like, how do you just consume less? Like, you just don't. I don't know. People.
It's going to be something very hard for Americans to just start consuming. Listen, us Americans as a people, we are a people that strive for comfort. Yeah.
Right.
We are
people
of buyers. That's what we do. We buy things.
Right.
Strive for comfort. We buy things, become comfortable, and fatten stuff.
Right.
And it's very hard for us to stop because we've had so many years of being a consumer.
Right. No, I agree with that. Quick comments here. It's almost like minimum wage should have already been going up, and therefore forcing every other company to drive their wages up to stay parallel with inflation. I don't disagree with that, but the point of it is,
I think it is.
Like, if you start raising minimum wage, then it's just the cost. It has to go up at the same time as inflation. You can't have the cost of minimum wage go up. People at McDonald's, wherever, I'm going to use McDonald's as an example, probably a lot, making $20 an hour, but then not expect the price of a Big Mac to go up. Like, McDonald's has to raise their prices to pay the $20 an hour. I'm just trying to look at the comments here. Target is $25 an hour. I did hear 20 or 25. Um, the price of a Big Mac is already up, and the wage hasn't stayed parallel with that. I mean, I don't disagree with that. I don't know if it's parallel to the point of the exact same. Yes, we aren't just going to start growing our own gardens straight away. We have to cut out something simple, coffee, newest phones, etc. Not all at once, but cut something out gradually, not cold turkey on everything. Do I think a Big Mac was $7 10 years ago? I don't think a Big Mac was $7 10 years ago, but I also don't think a Big Mac was $6 10 years ago. I think it was probably $3.50, maybe $4 10 years ago. So if you're raising that by about 50%, 75%, but then you want to go from 10 years ago, minimum wage was probably somewhere around $7 an hour, and then you want to go from 7 to 20, that's 300% increase. Probably prices going up, the wages have it. I don't disagree with that. What do you think? We'll bring Jax back in here. What do you think are some solutions? I mean, we're talking about cutting out stuff, but like, from everything. Once again, not trying to get as political with this, but
I don't know how anything can't be political.
Well,
everything's
everything's
political nowadays.
But I'm trying not to point fingers at one way or the other. But if you go back to it, 2 years ago, pandemic begins in 2020. A lot of people are laid off, let go, downsized, stuff like that. There's not a lot of need for gas at that point because a lot of people weren't driving. So, like, the refineries are shut down. Refineries are on lower output. A lot of those are let go. Those refineries are not brought back up because people just left. They don't have a job. They left. So now we're trying to restart the refineries. We're trying to restart, that stuff. Obviously, the conflict in the Ukraine is probably not helping with that because we had been getting some gas from Russia. Now we're not. Sanctions are on them. So now it's just making it a lot harder to manipulate. We do have a pipeline. We do have stuff in America that we could open up. We have a storage overflow of crude oil that we could open up, but we don't. So there's a lot of things that went into this over the last 2 years, and I don't know how we get out of it going forward. Like I said, I agree with you, maybe, and I agree with Natalie also about like kind of being self-sustained a little bit, kind of starting small, give up this, give up that. But that doesn't affect the fact that you're still paying at this point $5 a gallon for gas. So we're going with what needs to happen. Like we need to have either cheaper oil to buy, or we need to drill it here in America. Now, I see Greenfly's join. Welcome in, Greenfly. But it's not just an American thing. This is across the world. And I'm sure...
I'm assuming this is the fuel prices.
Yeah.
Right. So I'd like to bring
It's all a little bit fucked.
What was that?
It's all a little bit fucked.
Right.
Yes,
but,
it is.
But, I mean, what is it... Where you're at? What's... Is it?
What's the petrol like?
Yeah.
Crazy. That's about it's about 48% res.
Right.
The petrol. Oh, we don't do it in gallons. So when Doman says like $5 a gallon,
Right.
and that could confuse me because we do it in liters, and
Okay.
ours is at about £2 a liter. It's the highest it's ever been. It's the high. It went up the last couple of days. The highest it's ever been. But yeah, it's. I think, as you said, a lot of it is dependent on things that maybe some people don't want to go into, that are currently happening around the world, based on where a lot of the world have got their oil from. That has now been cut out, which means other places, which some also have some very questionable human rights laws and things like that, and opinions on certain things, they're now inflating their prices, and we don't have the capabilities to deal with that from British shores. And I think, as Damon said, it's pretty similar in America. We don't have the ability to keep up with the demand ourselves. We have to buy in.
Right.
But obviously, the more we buy in, the more we have. The more the government buys in, the more the government have to make back.
Right.
So it naturally filters through. And it's not just fuel. I mean, the cost of living in
Right.
England has gone up exponentially.
And that's kind of where we started. I know you weren't here. Just real quick, just a quick math lesson for everybody playing along at home. When I'm saying that we're paying on average $5 a gallon, that's the national average in America. Greenfly just gave me a number. I did the quick math on it. That averages out. They're paying £2 a liter. That averages out to $7.56 a gallon. So they're paying more, or wherever Greenfly's at is paying more. I don't know if that's a national average where you're at, but $2 a liter. $2 a liter is $7.56 a gallon, and that's what they're paying. So that just kind of adds a little bit more into it, like, you know.
Right. So a liter is 0.2 of a gallon.
Right, about 3 liters into a gallon. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
4 times. Pounds.
They make pizza rolls in the oven. They should be paying $8 a gallon. I mean, you're probably not wrong.
For pizza rolls? 8 gallons of pizza rolls?
No. Greenfly makes pizza rolls in the oven, so that's why he should be paying $8 a gallon. But I will.
We're paying in dollars at minimum $9.84 a gallon.
$9.84 a gallon. That's higher. For those of you paying attention, that's higher than what California. And California is the highest state. That's higher. Now, I mean, I'm assuming, I don't know.
California is high.
Well, that's also true. I'm assuming, I don't know what the geographical breakdown of the UK is, but I assume you don't have a lot of oil refineries.
It's an aisle, so I can't imagine it would be a lot.
So I mean, we do like in Texas, and
we have very minimal oil ability.
Right.
So to speak.
So I mean,
what I will say is, in terms of like, obviously as we just went out, we pay almost double than Americans on a gallon.
Right.
I think the cars we get in England, because we don't get a lot of American cars, a lot of it's European or British produced cars, I think they're a lot more fuel efficient. So it's probably not twice as bad. It probably that evens it out a little bit, because I know that some American cars do go through quite a bit, and there's some European cars that go through quite a bit. But I think a lot of the ones that we get are a little bit more fuel efficient. So
Okay.
Probably works out, probably evens itself back a little bit, but
Right.
the exact.
Well, and you kind of hit on it right before we started talking about that.
Wait,
When you
wait,
talk about
crazy!
Yeah.
Crazy. Your truck gets 9 to 12 miles a gallon, or your truck gets 9.5 miles a gallon.
probably not
'cause-
9 to 12 miles a gallon.
Yeah. My mate's car gets 42
Right. But
miles to the gallon.
but you guys don't have a lot of trucks over there, right?
No, that's what I mean. Like That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Like we
Yeah.
we have a lot more fuel efficient
Fuel
vehicles
efficient
over
cars, right?
Yeah.
You're mostly cars, where
Yeah.
we have a lot of trucks, SUVs, stuff like that.
Oh, nice.
here.
Lorries.
That too.
I'm cultured.
But also in England, a lot of people are going electric now, so
Right.
I think it's actually becoming a law.
That's what I'd
Easy.
like to start on. I feel like we should be less dependent on such
I think,
fuels.
yeah, I
you know?
think I think it's already started, but I think the electrical car revolution is coming in a big way. There's just I don't know how it is in America with Tesla being an American company and stuff like that. I don't know what it's like for charging docks over there. We don't have a lot. They're only like major places, or you charge it at home. So a lot of people are still sort of, what's the word? Hesitant to go out and get an electric car because they're a bit worried they're going to run out and
Well,
not be
Well,
sort of
they're-
local to a charger.
They're worried about that that their electric bill is gonna go up. They're worried about how far can I go on this charge? Like if it's 200 miles, 300 miles, like you can't. I mean, a typical person maybe
Yeah,
not
but
drive that in a day,
that's
but if
what
you're
I
going on a
mean.
vacation, like you have
No,
to
that's what I
plan
mean.
on.
I think those capabilities are coming. I think we're not far off a 300-mile, like a charge car.
Right.
I really do, and we're also not far off electrical cars that charge fully in an hour.
I think it might be different over here in
Yeah, that's what I mean.
US.
I don't know
Because a lot of the U.S., say you're driving through Ohio, a lot of Ohio is just cornfields, yeah?
Right.
There's not going to be a Tesla charging point in the middle of Bucktooth, Ohio,
Yeah.
you know?
They're
Yeah.
off the highways. They're off the major highways. At like Denny's and Cracker Barrels and stuff like that. You actually
you
laugh,
sure
but
they are there?
I know where there's a Tesla charging station at a Denny's.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Yeah, we get stuff like
great.
that. Like,
I haven't seen this. This is great.
Yeah.
I
I
don't know
like
if you've ever been
that.
to England. You said like off freeways and stuff, like off every motorway, every few miles, there's a service station which has got stuff like food, coffee, stuff
Right.
like that. And there's I think 90% of them now there is an electric car charging dock.
There's one at Denny's. That's fucking great.
Yeah. I mean, crazy is kind of right there. The Tesla's GPS. GPS is your whole trip and tells you where all the stations are. But are you building in your time? Like you're like, okay, I'm driving from Ohio to Florida. Now I'm building in my time. Okay, well I have to stop. I have to stop here and charge. And it's not
Yeah,
like you stop and get gas. You know, it takes
I was
you.
surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if Tesla does that. If Tesla adds like 45 minutes for a charging time to your journey time.
Right. It does. Okay, he says it does. It tells you
Yeah,
to drive here
that
and
does
charge
not surprise me in the slightest.
for this. It charges how long it charges for. Yeah, I mean, but isn't that? I mean, the cost of an electric car is through the roof right now. Absolutely through the roof. Because of the chips that they need that nobody can get, the microchips. Then you add that into the cost of electricity. Is it really going to be the wave of the future? Is it really going to be cheaper or better? And I don't know if I say better for the environment or better for whatever, but is it going to be... cheaper.
For petrol heads and stuff like that, like when there's a petrol head, you said I'll never get one, but it will get to, I'd say, we're about 10, 15 years away from it because of the fact that they are still so new. Like, okay, there's been a couple that have been out for a long time, but they were very sort of catered to a specific kind of person. They were expensive as shit, and but you mentioned chips. It's going to get to a point where demand is going to get that high. Those chips are going to be produced at the same rate as oil because they're going to have to be.
Right.
And
yeah.
that's coming. It's just a way away. So
Yeah.
I think it is going to be the future, just not the immediate future.
Right. I mean, everything requires chips nowadays. Like down in the state capital, Ohio, in Columbus, they just they just reached a deal over the winter time, I think it was, with Intel, and they're building a factory there to make nothing but chips.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
But it's good. It's a. I mean, they're building the factory now.
Yeah.
So it's going to take however long to build the factory, then however long to get the machinery up. So we're still, like you said, we're still a ways away.
Yeah.
But then, what do we do in the 5 years between now and then? Is it just we're in a? I don't know how you guys have ever had one of these, but are you just in a type of a depression type of time?
I don't think it's that bad because I think financially things are going to even themselves out a lot quicker than people think. I spoke to someone about this at work yesterday. Realistically, as I said, it's something that people don't talk about. But, and I personally don't really enjoy talking about it. But one of the biggest factors in all of this fuel and cost of living stuff is what's currently going on in the Ukraine.
Mm-hmm.
That isn't going to go on forever. It's not. It's probably not going to go on past the end of this year. After that,
We'll hope. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, yeah, it's a genuine hope, and I know my stance is kind of irrelevant, but with Ukraine we stand, and I hope it resolves itself somewhat soon. But like that's not gonna. That hopefully that's not gonna go on forever. Which then opens up certain trade routes again. I'm not saying go back to Russia and pump money into it, but that, like, obviously once this ends, the UN and all the other things, they will then take action, necessary action, and you can start to get them trade routes open, which means the price that the governments are paying in automatically drops. Which means we see it as before, that inflation price starts to drop down again. And I don't think that's going to take a lot. I don't think that's going to take as long as a lot of people think it is. It's not going to be an immediate change. But I think we're probably at the worst of it now. I don't think it's going to get much worse than this.
I disagree with that. I disagree with that, especially over here. It's going to get a lot worse.
Well, yeah,
because
I can't speak for America, so
well,
don't take that as possible. But
because
in England, I don't think it's going to get any worse.
Yeah, for the next
or much worse.
For the next 3 months, it's summertime. People are going to travel. People are going to bitch about the gas prices, but they're going to travel. The gas prices spiked at Memorial Day, which is a big traveling holiday. We have 4th of July. Sorry, Greenfly. We have 4th of July coming up.
Yeah.
You know,
No, don't mind. We get 4th of July. We just don't do anything special there. It's not like a day where it doesn't exist.
Well, yeah, you guys. I mean, you do have July 4th. We have July 4th holiday for a reason. Sorry about.
I don't know why you're apologizing.
Because it's just funny to me.
Because they lost.
Is that you country back?
Yeah. Anyways, so
only if my people could.
right. Yeah, sorry about that too. That's in November, I guess. Apologize about that.
Is
I didn't hear that. I didn't hear that. What was
What?
that? What Jack said, I didn't hear it.
He said by he wished his people could have it back. And I said,
Yeah.
that's in November. I apologize about that also.
Is it in November?
What? I don't get what you're getting at. I
Thanksgiving.
missed half. Ah, right, cool. Yeah,
Yeah,
no, we
you
don't have
guys need
that.
to look up the history of Thanksgiving a little bit. I think.
I know what we
missed
celebrate.
half.
Anyways, back onto the
We don't
back
get
on
it.
subject. So anyway, so over the next 3 months, at least Americans will be doing a lot of traveling. It's summertime. You know, we gotta go here, gotta go there. Combine that with the fact that you really couldn't have done anything the last 2 years because of
Yeah,
the
but,
restrictions
I don't-
on COVID and stuff like that.
Make this the right way, please, because I'm not just saying this is American being dumb or anything like that. I'm not.
Can we just start a revolution already?
Let's do it.
But
Destroy the machines.
the Americans traveling more isn't the problem getting worse. It's just Americans not acclimatizing to the problem. Like in England, if it got so high, people would just stop driving. Like, and then that kind of, it doesn't get any worse. It just, you feel it. I don't think it's going to get that much worse in America. I just don't think Americans are going to change towards it.
Well, yeah,
which means they're just going to feel it more.
Yeah, we're definitely not going to change.
Yeah.
We're not going to stop
Yeah.
driving. As much as everybody's going to be
No.
like, you know, you might be like, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not going to take an unnecessary trip, or I'm going to carpool or something like that. But you're not going to stop driving. And
No.
I can't
that-
I can't believe there's that much of a cultural difference between
Right.
you
If it
you
got-
and us, that you're saying, oh, we would just stop driving, and you would
At this
actually
point,
do
no.
it.
At this point, no. At this point, no. Where it is now, no. So I don't think it's going to get to a point where we do stop driving. But if it got to a point where it was half of your paycheck to fill your car,
Right.
most Britons would just stop driving.
I don't
Amen.
know. I'd feel that, but I don't know.
No, I can guarantee it. Because a lot of our public transport systems take you to everywhere in the country. So, like, for example, I work in the middle of an industrial estate that's, like, just in the middle of nowhere. I can get the bus from a bus station that takes me into that industrial estate. Like, even though it's completely out of the way, there's always a public transport route that can get you directly there.
I'm
And it's
not
just
buying you a
on that.
Tesla.
And
No.
at this moment in time, probably a bit cheaper as well.
Right. But
One of the things
what?
America doesn't have is a very good public transportation system. Well, sure, if you're in larger cities like New York, you have integrated
Yeah,
subways.
like
but
ours isn't
outside
just-
of large cities, you don't have
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
Not
ours
in the
is.
slightest.
It's not perfect, but like I live in a little town. It's good. It'll get me where I need to go on time most of the time.
Right. But you're talking about. You're saying if. I know you can't say everybody, but everybody stopped driving, then you would use the public.
Most people would. Yeah.
Okay.
Most
So,
people,
you don't think that public transportation would raise their rates? Because now they're still paying the same $10 a gallon. I'm going to use it by gallons. They're paying the same $10 a gallon, but now they're having to transport more people, which probably means they have to have more transportation devices. Whether it's a bus, whether it's a subway, stuff like that. So now, like, they have to pay for that. They're paying for this. Maybe they're doing more routes. Maybe they're running more often. Like, they're going to be raising their rates. So now, because
Subway run off of it's electric, yeah.
I don't
yeah,
know.
I see.
I would
That-
assume
It doesn't
so.
take like coal anymore. It's not
I
that
was-
kind of train.
I would assume so. I was thinking more of buses. Like, when I think of public transportation, I think more buses. And stuff like
Right.
What I will say
right.
is, I think Nats just hit the nail on the head. It'll only ever get raised slightly because in your car, you're the one that's filling. On a train, there might be 200 people. It's a spread cost.
Yeah,
It-
yeah.
It's never going to get, like, incredibly overpriced.
But it's not
Oh,
like it's not like the train is running with only 10 people right now. The trains are probably over half booked, maybe 3/4 booked, maybe fully booked now.
Some will be, yeah. But and then even then again, as Nat said at the end, they already have like things in place where you can lower the cost.
Right.
Like you pay an upfront. I think I was looking at one because when I was going out quite a lot because it meant I could get alcohol quicker. You can get something in our country called a train line pass, and it's 90 quid a year. It's like 90 quid for 3 years, and it's I think 30% off all train fares. Over 3 years, that's going to save you quite a bit, especially if you're getting it quite a lot. So they already have infrastructure in place to cope with like the financial side of it.
A quid is not a type of bird. No, and I agree with that. I'm more going with the devil's advocate part
He's
here.
thinking about quail.
That's a quail,
Yeah.
yes. A quail's a bird.
Quail eggs are solid.
But we kind of touched on it a little bit earlier. Jackson and I kind of talked about it before you joined, and then you mentioned it, and you've mentioned it a couple times since then. The cost of living adjustment, you still need trucks, because I'm assuming your diesel is which runs your big semi trucks. I'm assuming that's different than what you're using. Like that's more expensive than $10 a gallon. Like those trucks are the ones that are bringing you stuff from the farm. They're bringing milk, eggs, chicken, hamburger, crackers, biscuits, however you want to say. Like they're bringing stuff, so that price is going up because
the way that we say the word biscuit.
we talked about that last night.
Oh,
it is
biscuits.
Biscuits are like cookies or something.
Biscuits are cookies.
Don't worry about me.
Cookies are biscuits.
Right. But what I'm saying, and Jackson and I kind of talked about this before, was the price of everything is going up. And I'm sure it's the same thing with you. With you, Green Flies.
Yeah.
Like the price of everything.
Everything
Has your wages gone up
right.
to combat the price of just living?
Not nationally, no.
Right. Yeah, I mean, obviously some people, get raised and stuff like that, but
not nationally.
In general.
We've not like raised the minimum wage.
Right. So, how do you combat?
We have spoke about doing that.
Right. Yeah, but how do you combat that? Like, how do you I think everything, the price of everything going up, I think it all circles back to the price of gas. Because it's costing more for the truck drivers to bring us the items. They're charging more to the other person, to, their provider. Everything's getting passed down to the consumer. So, a gallon of milk, or a liter of milk, whatever, everything's more expensive now. We had talked about having your own garden, having, more sustainable stuff.
Would you say green play?
Jack's just died on Apex.
Shut up! I fucking walked out the open and got hit by an arc star.
But how do you combat that? Or is there anything that you can do?
What, me personally? No, I'm not the government.
So the government, like your
yeah, like our government's running schemes at the minute.
they're
like
running what?
there's one schemes.
That's
Like it sounds wrong, but it's the right word.
Oh, okay.
Like scheme sounds like this.
I would imagine you have a better handle on the English language.
Yeah, I'd like to think so.
Being English and all.
Yeah, I'd like to think so. What you guys did to the language is a disgrace. But yeah, no. So they're running at the minute because we have what is like people own their houses, or we have like what are called council houses, which are houses you rent from the government, and you don't own it, but you just like rent it. The government are now putting a scheme in place that is they are advising you or they are urging you, if you live in a council house, to actually buy that house from the government, and the government are going to physically and directly financially help you to make that happen. So you're buying the house you live in. So, for example, say my family home was owned by the government, we'd have the option to buy it, and the government would actually help us buy the house, even though we're buying it from them.
Okay.
So it's like it's making them money, but we're all getting something out of it, which then in turn lowers the cost for us, because if you do it, automatically you lose your rent cost, which is extra money a month or week depending on how you pay it. So, but obviously they're getting money in like a large chunk straight away, so they can then invest that back, but you're getting something out of it, kind of thing. Because you can get your house, and then if you decide to move, you can actually sell it.
Okay, but I mean,
So-
you're still paying for the loan on the house to the government instead of paying rent for something you won't
Yeah,
own.
It pretty much becomes a mortgage, but
Right.
they give you money towards the mortgage, so they help you buy the house.
Yeah. Let me help out chat here real quick. Yes, pass policy that limits markups. If you pay $4 for something, you can't mark it up 4,000, 40,000%. Put a limit on markups for profit. I mean, that's all fine and dandy, but that will never happen. Because the rich are the rich for a reason. Sorry about that. Let's go back to so the government's helping you buy your house. Basically, they're just a big mortgage company.
Yes, but obviously, so say my house was a council house, and it was apparently worth 148,000. Like to say 150,000 off the top of my head, yeah. And they would look at how long you've lived there. They would take each monthly rent payment you've made. They would knock that off what you owe. So it's not like you're starting again. So we've lived here now 24 years nearly.
Mm-hmm.
Because we moved in when I was just before I turned 1, and I'm nearly 25, so we lived here almost 24 years. So that's 24 years of our mortgage is already paid off if we opt into this. And then they're going to cover a percentage of the rest of the cost. So it would be maybe a couple of years mortgage we'd have to pay. And you don't have to pay it monthly. If you have some money saved away, you can pay it off instantly there and then.
Okay. Is that something that's new, or is that something that they've
That's not in place yet. It's coming in, I think, in next month.
And that's something to directly help.
That's as a way to combat the cost of living, because it takes the rent away from people. It pretty much lowers the money you're paying every month to live in your house.
Okay.
So it gives you extra money to put into other bills and stuff like that.
Okay. So, yeah. So that's one thing that your government's doing, right? That's a government thing.
Yeah.
On the government level, or that they're proposing, or that's going to happen.
No, this is happening. Yeah, this is actually happening.
Yeah.
I don't remember the exact date it's coming into play, but it is happening.
Okay. So how? I mean, that infuses more money, I assume, into society, because you're paying, you're actually owning instead of renting. Your bill might be a little bit less, because.
Well, say it again, because purely about my family situation, I can speak sort of comfortably on without guessing numbers. And so I said we lived here 24 years. A standard mortgage is 25 years. So what would happen is, it's like you'd be forced to pay your 5,000 deposit, which the government cover, because they don't expect you to do it, because that's the whole point of this, is to help save the family's money.
Right.
And then what your rent was, they might lower that. So say we were paying £500 a month, they might lower that to £300 a month, but extend it over a slightly longer period of time, but you're still getting an extra £200 a month more than you had without actually doing anything. So it's like they don't make it any cheaper. They're just looking, because rent is a set thing and is apparently quite difficult to change. Someone I know was saying it's apparently quite difficult to change, even though they're the government. So I assume they would be away from it. It's just quite a difficult process. If they convert that to selling you the house and they do it as a mortgage, they can say, right, instead of doing £500 a month for the next 2 years, we're going to do £250 a month for the next 4 years. So you pay the same amount, but over a longer period of time,
Right.
meaning that during this time you have an extra £250 a month that you wouldn't have had without doing this.
Right. No, I mean, and that's, I guess that's a start, but that's
a big one I've heard of.
Yeah.
There might be other stuff that I haven't heard of. That might be all they're doing. I really don't know.
okay. No, I mean, and it's something. You know, I don't know. I mean, it's something
I'll
obviously.
be honest, it's more than I expected the government to do.
Yeah, that's something, and that's something that we couldn't obviously do here because all of our mortgage companies are privately owned. So they're not government owned. So that's a different story. You can't tell, and that kind of goes with the crazy thing here. Like, you can't tell one mortgage company that they can't charge this. Like, they're all privately owned. They can charge whatever they want to.
Oh no, these aren't being done. This isn't like done across all houses, because the government can't do that. It's so similar to that. But the government own a lot of houses in England, and they're called council houses.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what I'm saying is, like, I don't think our government owns any houses. Like, they don't rent houses out to people. I could be wrong. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think our government rents houses out. So, any house that's a rental is by a private person or a mortgage company or anything like that. So no, that's definitely a start. I can't say, and maybe I'm just not seeing it. I can't say that we're doing anything. You know.
Other than that, I can't think of much. But there might be stuff that they're working on that it's not been announced. There might be stuff that I just missed.
I mean, what we're gonna hear is, our Congress is voting on, sending relief checks of $300 to every family.
Oh, more stims and shit.
Yeah, more stimulus checks.
Yeah.
I'm not stupid. I'm not going to turn down the money, but that doesn't solve it.
Yeah.
That doesn't solve anything.
No.
Yeah. We have government housing in the U.S., but you have to be below poverty line and then pay for housing. Yeah. I guess there is government housing, but
we have like government housing where they pay for your house if you are like, if Matt said, below like a certain line. That's mainly like single parents. They get that in this country. It's mainly like single parents as a way to make sure that the child's not homeless and stuff like that. But like, we have houses. If you walk on any street in England, there is probably half of it isn't owned by the person that lives there. It's owned by the council and rented out to people as if you were buying a house from a real estate agent.
Okay.
You pay for it. The government pay, say we lived in a council house. The government don't pay anything to help us pay for it. It's just instead of paying a mortgage company or a private renter, the rent, it would go directly to the government.
Right.
Which is quite common in England. So they're the houses that they're looking to do, because we pay the houses if we own it, but we couldn't sell it, and they could kick us out tomorrow. Realistically, that kind of thing. If that, like, say, if my family lived in the council house, we have no say.
Okay.
But obviously, they're now offering people that live in those houses the chance to buy them directly from the government, meaning it would become our house. They get some money, and then we spread the cost better. So stop dying. I'm trying to make a serious point, and you keep dying.
He can't help himself.
Go on.
Go on.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah. It's just it's a
But
bad.
that
It's a
is
bad
the
time.
only one. Yeah, it's not. It's a scary time.
Yeah. You know, money is money doesn't grow on trees, and
Yeah, it does. It does.
you just don't know how. I feel that this is how maybe the next depression happens.
I mean, it could well be, but I personally just don't see it.
They've been saying that for a while. Next depression's gonna. I've seen it. Shit, I seen it when I was still in school that it was gonna happen.
But it wasn't as, I guess, dire. It wasn't as dire as it was back then, because everything it seemed a little bit more affordable. Now everything is just so jacked up. You know, the prices of everything are through the roof, and I'm not just talking like. I'm not talking about frivolous stuff. I'm talking about the prices of cereal, milk.
Technically, money does grow on trees. I don't want to call people stupid, but money does grow on trees.
Sort of ish.
No,
Grows
no, it
in
does.
trees.
From trees.
From trees. There you go.
It's from trees. So if you grow a tree, money is growing on it. Yeah.
But yeah,
Money
I mean,
grows in mints.
and I couldn't imagine. You know, I couldn't imagine a family
Yes.
of 4, a family of 5.
Because Hector, money is made from paper, and paper comes from trees.
That's true. Learn something new every day. It's more of a recession than a depression. I mean,
Yeah, I'd also agree with that.
I think you start with the recession first, but it could turn into a depression if, you know, your...
Sorry, that's my coping mechanism. I'm sorry.
What?
No, if people didn't hear it, it's fine.
Oh.
That's probably for the best.
Did you hear it, guys?
No.
Good.
Play it back? Oh. But yeah, it could turn into a depression because all it would take is one hit to stocks, you know, and everybody's bankroll or their, you know, their future, their retirements are hit.
Huh?
And then now we're in a depression. Money is made from cotton and linen, not paper. I don't. That's not the discussion. You're made of cotton and linen.
Nothing
I
you're
like
like
that.
calling that.
So anyway, so that's why I think it would start as a recession, but I think it could turn into a depression if like stocks and stuff like that are hit and people start getting nervous and maybe start selling, and then we're into a pile of shit. Just my opinion.
That's what all of this is just opinion.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm pretty silent. I don't know enough on the topic to be like, this is my opinion. I haven't formed one yet.
Yeah, but you know enough to, if you're buying a gallon of milk or a 12-pack of pop or
Yeah, I'm not saying, you know, the shit that we buy on maybe like the weekly, you know, like groceries and shit. That shit going up and my pay staying exactly the same.
Right.
That shit ain't great, you know?
Right.
But I'm not saying, oh, this is how we fucking fix this, you know?
You know what, Jax? I want to know your opinion on how to fix it because I would follow you.
Don't. Other than turning into an autocracy, I have no idea.
I'm sorry. What was your answer again?
Don't worry about it. It was a joke.
Oh.
He goes, I'm sorry. What's your answer? Yeah. Don't worry about it. It's fine.
I went to break with a coworker yesterday, and she bought cigarettes, and they were $8. To about shit. Yeah, cigarettes. Yeah, a pack of cigarettes is $8. A carton of cigarettes about $70.
Yeah, but in all fairness, that's probably not a bad thing.
And honestly, I think that was more for health.
Yeah,
related
I
reasons.
don't
I
think
think-
that's. I don't think that's due to current
Yeah, I think that was probably a government thing where the taxes on it, they just tax
Yeah, like
the
if you
shit out of it.
pay $8 for a pack of cigarettes, ours have been like a $5 for like 6 years. So
Right.
I'd say that's definitely before all this cost of living stuff came up.
Yeah, I think that's more of a.
They might have gone up slightly because of it, but not like as a huge jump.
Newport's at $9.15. Holy smokes! Haha, literally.
Not gonna lie, because of the colour of the name in chart, I genuinely thought that were heck to them.
Right. They're about the same. And that's the problem you get for smoking Newports.
I'm gonna be like, why the hell is it Hector smoking? You're like 6.
Yeah. No, you're right, Nat. Like, cost of cigarettes are massively expensive. Like, it's $7 to $10 a pack.
Yeah, but that I agree with that personally.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Right. And they're still trying to make regulations. Talk about cigarettes. They're raising the age to be able to buy cigarettes. The next thing is
Smoke inside in America.
What's that?
You're allowed to smoke inside in America.
Like in our houses?
No, because that's I understand you're allowed to smoke inside.
Yeah.
Get that? I
No,
meant
that-
more like in like a club.
Most businesses are non-smoking. Some of them will have like patios that you can smoke at.
It'll still be outside.
They are attached though. Like it's still
Yeah.
like our local casino was non-smoking, and then they kind of added a pavilion on. So
Oh yeah, that
you can smoke
I get
in there.
Like, adding smoking
Oh, in the
areas.
casino I work in, there is a sectioned off area
Right.
in the
What,
game floor.
inside?
Inside, yeah, that you can.
Yeah, you're not allowed to do that in England. If you're making a smoking area, it's got to be outside.
Yeah,
Any
yeah.
public, any building that is open to the public, you're not allowed to smoke inside.
Oh, some dive bars
It-
allow smoking.
It's been like that for years.
Yeah, I mean, they changed that. Like, there used to be smoking sections and non-smoking sections of restaurants, which was the stupidest thing ever. Because literally it would just be somebody
stupidest
sitting
thing
next
ever.
to you. Just because they were in a smoking section, they could smoke because they had an ashtray on their table. But the smoke doesn't stop there. Then they started putting up, like, plastic dividers. And that didn't help, so then they just made them non-smoking.
Why am I Bangor?
But yeah, I mean, going on the cigarette thing here, they're, at least the U.S., is trying to curb underage smoking, and the next thing they're going after is, sorry, Cherry, they're going after menthol cigarettes and flavored cigars. That basically will make them banned. Like, you won't be able to buy a Camel Menthol or a Newport because it'll be banned. Because they feel that that's targeting the youth because they're flavored. So they will take it away. So if you're going to smoke, you're going to smoke an actual
Cigarette. Like a full flavored
a
cigarette.
full flavored cigarette.
Yeah.
And
No, I
not,
think that's the point. They're not flavored.
well, but they're called full flavored.
Yeah, I'm gonna say myself on my joke. Just
Right. Right, but the menthol cigarettes,
Oh, fuck me.
I like the
oh, die!
the Swisher Sweets, like the the tip cigars that are flavored, those will probably all be going away.
Right, stream chat, wish me luck, I'm opening a pack.
Good luck.
Thank you.
He smokes that strawberry lavender.
But there's no smokes this week. What?
No, Cherry, that's what they're looking at. That's what they're looking at banning. That's next on the list. They're not going anywhere? All right.
Start buying in bulk.
Yeah, I mean,
No, though.
I'm just going by what I've heard and what I've read. But about that time, then they'll make, something else legal. So it'll be fine.
Either that or companies will just find workarounds.
I'm sorry, what?
They'll either make something else legal, or companies that sell like flavored cigarettes, they'll just make a workaround.
Right. Well, I think that might include like vapes and stuff like that, like the flavored vapes. So
The issue is, I don't think you can technically ban flavored vapes because they sell them without nicotine.
but I think it's still
So
sold.
they have.
They're
yeah,
still
some have
sold in the
nicotine.
same like tax bracket. Like I think they're still taxed the
Yeah,
same.
yeah, but that's fine. There's no issue with that. The issue is, are young people getting like the option to get nicotine too much? But they actually cover that off by selling them without nicotine.
Right.
Oh, no.
Any other comments though? Chat from the co-host here. Anything else related to the gas prices? And like I said, we're not talking about Taco Bell. We're talking about.
Why can't we talk about Taco Bell?
We can, but and I didn't even know that. Like I knew $5 a gallon national average. I didn't know it was $10 a gallon based on that information. Like I assumed it was more, but that's insane. That's insane that's what we're coming to. And like I said, it all starts with giving me more money isn't the option. I'll take it, but it doesn't. That's not the option.
It doesn't help.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I mean, Jax and I can talk
I mean,
about this a little bit more than Green
it's
Flag.
it's not a viable option, but technically, just giving you more money does help.
Yeah, I mean it does, but it's not a sustained thing, and you get too lazy. Like
It's not a long run.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah.
didn't.
Solution.
It could potentially be if they only say this lasting maybe a year. It could be a viable solution then, but they'd have to be confident that this is going to run within the timescale that they plan for.
Right.
Which you can't plan for something like it.
Yeah. And then, like I said, I think
Damn it.
miraculously, and this is as political as I want to get at least. Miraculously, in 2 years, in a year and a half, I think things will be better. Because
I would give someone £1 million to go and kill the leader of Russia.
I think it'll be better because now we have a re-election
The
coming up.
pure voice of.
Yeah, we'll have a re-election coming up or an election coming up, and both of the mainstream candidates will be running on that, and I think things will change before that. So, I mean, we'll see. It's a hard time to live in because we're so dependent on everything.
On consumerism.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You
yeah.
weren't quite sure with that first, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a good word. That's a good understanding of
Yeah.
it, because like we are dependent on that, because everything we do is that.
Right.
But I mean, if you guys don't have anything else to go off of here, I think we'll just I'm good with kind of ending the podcast now. We can keep talking. We can still be talking.
Of course.
But yeah, I mean, it was just something, especially this week. You know, obviously everybody has their own problems. You know, work related or this or that, and just seeing gas prices the way they are and consumer items, it hurts. It hurts.
Scary.
It is. It's very scary, because you don't know where your next money is coming from to combat that. And for people that have to drive for a living, you know, that have to commute, and they have to drive because they can't take public transportation or their job requires it or whatever, and for our truck drivers, you know, for our semi-truck drivers, for delivery drivers, I mean, you know, everything is going up. All prices are going up. You know, all deliveries are going up, and it's until gas can come back down, we're in for a long haul. So, but I appreciate people joining me this week. Greenfly, thank you for being here. Jax, thank you for being here. It wasn't a one-man booth this week. Next week, Dennis will be back. So we're looking forward to having him join us next week for the Still Talking podcast.
Oh God, I've got someone to help me bully people.
That would be nice. I do miss you guys dearly.
But we will cut it there. We appreciate everybody chiming in, and we will still...
I almost rage quit right there. Don't worry about it.
Don't rage quit. And we will catch you next week, and we will still be talking.
My God, are you still
like that.
talking?
Is that new?
It's new. It's definitely new.
I like that, yeah.